Hi creatives, I'm Amy, and on this channel we talk about how your creative gift has value. Today we're going to be talking about creative block, and I'm going to give you a prescription for 5 common problems that cause us to get stuck creatively. Each one of these is a book, a really great read that I'm going to recommend to you depending on what problem you feel like you're facing. So stick with me. I will link to each book in the description below. Okay guys, thanks for joining me on this ride. Yellow Boy, the kitty, has decided he's not giving up his spot today, so he's joining us too, I guess, for better or for worse. The first common problem, I'm starting with the one that seems to be my biggest right now, is I don't even have time for creativity, much less reading a book about creativity. If that's your problem, then, oh, Yellow Boy, stop it. If that's your problem, then I recommend the book Steal Like an Artist by Kleon. If you don't have a lot of time, this is a quick read. If you're an artist and a visual learner like a lot of us are, and you don't like just tons and tons of words, this book is great because Austin uses a lot of handwritten text and pictures and diagrams that he does himself, and it's a quick read, it's super inspirational, and it may just help you kind of get that kick you need to get back to doing something creative every day. Problem number 2, if you're just experiencing creative block, when it's time to sit down and create something or do some work you need to do, you're stuck and you got nothing. Here's a book I recommend for you. It's called The Creative Habit, Learn It and Use It for Life by Twyla Tharp. Twyla Tharp is a choreographer, but this applies to any kind of creative work or pastime that you do or need to do, especially for people who have something creative that they need to do by a deadline or on a regular basis. This is a great book about how professional artists and creatives have to find a way to show up every day and do the work, whether they feel inspired or not that day. This also has a lot of actions and exercises, just small, simple exercises to kind of help you get that creativity flowing and get going when you're feeling stuck. So it's a really practical guide. Problem number 3 is if you don't even feel talented enough or worthy of the word artist to call yourself an artist or creative, or if you feel that any time spent on creative or artistic pursuits is not valid or not worthwhile, that you should be doing something real with your time, I've got the right book for you. This is a classic called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. This is an old copy, but Julia Cameron came to this realization in going through 12-step programs like Alcoholics Anonymous. She realized that a lot of artists need creative recovery. They're either blocked and unable to create the things that they want to create, or their inner artist has just been told that it's not worthy and has been put down their whole life, and so they went into a career that was something practical that was not what they love or what they're good at or what they care about, and their inner artist has been suffering for years because it doesn't get a chance to speak or to be a part of their personality. So if you're feeling sort of unworthy or like art is not important, or that's the message you're hearing from friends or family or well-meaning loved ones, this book is great because Julia Cameron does a lot to defend that inner artist, kind of like your inner child. And she says that it needs to be nurtured and protected. She gives you exercises to help with that, including something she does called an artist date. That's where you go out and do something that refills you artistically and creatively. And this is a great thing to do when you're blocked, because sometimes you don't have anything else to pull from or to give. What you need to do is refill the well. That's the term she uses a lot. And so she talks about how to refill that well as an artist or a creative so that you have something to pull from and to draw. Prescription number 4 is if you want to inject more creativity into the more left brain or analytical aspects of your life. Perhaps you have a job that is not particularly creative or artistic, but you would like to bring more of that right brain or artist side of yourself to work with you or into the job you do every day. This is a book I was introduced to in college in a drawing class. It's called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. And this is a great book if you want to learn to draw. Betty Edwards believes that you basically need 5 skills, and they are not physical skills with your hands and how to use a pencil. They are about seeing and perceiving. And she talks about the ways you need to see relationships and perceive things in order to be able to draw. What she talks about is that in order to get the subdominant right side, creative side of your brain to activate and engage in something, you need to present the brain with a job that the left analytical side of the brain will turn down and not be interested in. So that way the right side, the less dominant side of your brain typically will say, hey, that one's for me. That looks like a job for me. I can do that. And that engages your right brain more often in the work that you do. So she gives a lot of exercises to help you kind of almost trick your brain into letting the less dominant side take over more often. And finally, if you are searching for more joy and fulfillment in your life or in your work or your hobbies, and who isn't, the book that I recommend is called Finding Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. The reason I know how to say this scientist's name is that after I'd already decided to do this video and to include this book, I heard a story on NPR about something else, but they were talking about this scientist who had studied things like self-actualization in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And they were talking about this guy, and I thought, that's gotta be the flow guy, the guy who talks about finding flow. It turns out that it was, and so I made sure to notice how they pronounced his name so that I could say it on this video. What's great about any of these books about flow, any of these studies that this scientist has authored, is that they talk to you about how to find this thing called flow that he recognized when he was studying creatives. He found that those who found flow in any aspect of their lives were happier. Flow is a place where you lose track of time, you're hitting on all cylinders, your mind, body, spirit is activated in a way that all works together, and you're in the zone, as we say nowadays. That's become kind of probably a more common way of saying that you found flow. So if you can find a flow activity to engage in, whether it's recreation or part of the work that you do every week, you will be a happier person and feel more fulfilled, and probably all the people around you will also feel happier. So it's really worth learning about this and kind of analyzing, is there a way that you can inject more of that into your life? Okay, so I really hope you'll read one or more of those books on the list. They're all really engaging and inspirational books. I'd love to hear in the comments what you do, what you find helpful when you're experiencing any kind of creative block. And speaking of creativity, I want to invite you to join us on my upcoming free 5-day Creativity Reboot Challenge. If you're feeling like your creativity is stuck, or that you haven't had time for it, or that you haven't given it the place in your life that you used to, I want to invite you to join us on this free challenge. I'll leave the link below. Just click on the link, and what will happen is when the challenge goes live, you will receive one email in your inbox every day that just gives you some inspiration and an actionable step to help you give creativity a place in your life again. And by the time the 5 days are over, we hope you'll be back on track with doing something creative on a regular basis in your life, and having your family and friends support you in that and understand how important it is to you. So please join us. Hope to see you next time. Take care.